Hello and welcome back to KTV's Directors in Focus. I'm joined here today by Izzy Delaney, director of She Won't Bite. Izzy, thank you so much for joining us.
That's okay.
So can you tell us a little bit about what your film is actually about?
So I'm making a vampire film, but it has kind of this underlying theme of consent. So I'm using vampirism as kind of metaphor, and it follows Gabby, who meets someone at a party, and then she gets bitten, she gets turned into a vampire, and then she seeks revenge. So that's kind of the no spoiler plotline.
Wonderful, and it's such a relevant topic at the minute, these themes of consent, especially around clubs and people our age. Was there any specific incident that you drew from for this, or what did you consider as inspiration?
So the idea of actually making it about vampires came first, and then I just thought about what I want to say as a filmmaker and the messages that I think are important, and just the kind of films that I want to write about. And then I kind of brought the themes and then the subgenre together and meshed it into something that I thought I'd want to say through my film.
And is this something you feel is properly represented in full feature-length films in cinemas right now, or is this something that you want to see more of?
I feel like there's always room for stories that are important to the filmmakers. I'd definitely say there are feature films that I drew inspiration from for this film, like thematically and as well as visually. But yeah, I'd say that if someone has a story to tell, then there should always be an opening for that kind of story.
You mentioned you had several visual inspirations. Do you have any specific films that really inspired the look of She Won't Bite?
Well, we've gone for a little bit of an aspect ratio change. So I think films like The Lighthouse kind of inspired me in that way, to take more of like an art film approach. But I think other inspiration came from like my Pinterest boards and the kind of pre-production planning, and then talking with my cinematographer. So I don't have a specific film in mind that inspired the visuals, but yeah, that kind of, we've got a little square aspect ratio, so I think that came from more like artsy films, contemporary films.
You mentioned you worked quite closely with your cinematographer. Let's talk a little bit about what the actual set was like. Do you have any funny stories from your time?
I mean, it's been really, really fun. It's quite a change from, because we're making more of like a drama film, but it's just been so fun, and we've laughed so much on set. Specifically, we've got a lot of use of fake blood for our film, so kind of working with more like special effects makeup, and there's a few stunts even to look out for, so those have been really fun.
And is this the first film you've directed?
No, I did KTV last year. I did one of the micro shorts, and then I do film as a subject, so I've made a few films on the course, but I would say this is probably my favorite project I've done so far.
And how did you find the transition from the micro shorts and the work you do as a film student to a fuller length production?
I've enjoyed it. I think having a longer runtime has given me a little more freedom to tell a story that goes a bit more into depth of what I want to say. And then I think because I wasn't doing a micro this year, I had like a lot more people interested in my film, so choice of crew and cast is really fun. Had lots of auditions, all really good, but helped really like refine who I was working with, and then makes me more proud of the project as we're all working together.
Now, I actually heard that you won Best Micro Short at the last KTV Film Festival. Are you hoping to pick up another award this time round?
Of course I am. I mean, I've loved making the film. but I do have quite a competitive spirit. Obviously, the main thing is just, even as far as we've got with the rough cut, I'm so proud of what we've done, and I'm so happy with all of my cast and crew. They're really just, they blow me away every time we're on set. So I'm happy with the project, but like there's a part of me that just like, I want to continue this winning streak. It would be nice to have, you know, more awards up in my house, but it's not about the awards.
Well, the competition is very fierce, isn't it?
Yeah, I love a good competition. I love a game. I like to win. I don't win a lot, but I like to win.
And do you have any plans for projects, future projects?
Yeah, I have literally just this week started my micro budget filmmaking module. So I'm kind of finishing up She Won't Bite and straight into another one, directing another film. So yeah, I'm going to be busy. It's my last term before graduation, so trying to squeeze in another film before then.
Do you think you're going to stay with the horror genre, or are you going to try out something else?
I would honestly not consider myself someone who's very interested in horror. I just happen to want to make a vampire film. So yeah, I'd say I probably will stray away from it. I have enjoyed it. It's been really fun, and I think horror as a genre itself is a little bit neglected from kind of Hollywood, and there's a real passion in horror filmmakers. So I do love the genre. I appreciate it. But I'd say more my personal style is just will lean in a different direction. So I don't think so, but I have loved making this one.
What genres do you think you're going to move into?
I'm not really sure how to describe. I like a kind of character-driven, understated story. So, like my favorite film, for example, is Before Sunrise. So more like a, I don't know. I like just a kind of calm, dreamy film, whereas this film is a little more high stake.
And would you say that's representative of your filmic style, the sort of more calmer, dreamy stuff, or would you say it's more complicated than that?
No, I would say like a, or I like kind of the films that feel like a warm hug, like even the films of like Nora Ephron, just very cozy films I tend to be drawn to. So I think that's what I'm drawn to be making. If, you know, if I have the creative freedom to make something, that's not always the case, but yeah.
And do you have any advice for anyone who is maybe on the fence about joining KTV and has an idea for a film and that they want to get made but they're not really sure how to?
Yeah, I would say just you have to just go for it. You have to dive straight into deep end. I'm like naturally a very shy person, so being in charge of a whole crew is quite daunting to me, but I think it's just like setting my script in there, and I mean, fingers crossed you get chosen. It's nice to be chosen. Once you kind of have people expecting this from you, then it's easier, and then it is really just a fun experience. Everyone is really interested in being on set, and they really just have fun with what they're doing. So I definitely recommend it. I think it's been so helpful to have this aside from my course, because I've taken the practical modules that I've been able to. But I'd say that KTV has really just expanded my experience in filmmaking.
And let's talk a little bit about that education-work balance. How have you found being a full-time uni student as well as being a director of your own film? What challenges has that posed?
It's quite challenging. It is really busy. It's fun. I like to be busy. I also might know I have a disability as well. I have chronic fatigue syndrome. So like I'm so busy. This is the most busy I've ever been, but I do feel really like productive, and I feel like I'm getting the most I can out of being at uni. Like 3 years is so short, and just being able to, I feel like I've really taken every opportunity I could have. So it's a lot of work now, but like looking back at what I've done, I'm really glad I've chosen to do KTV the last 2 years.